answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers! I want the truth!
While researching star forts off the coast of Ghana, I came across this collection, the New General Collection of Voyages and Travels. And inside of here, one of the first ones that really caught my attention was this here, the island of Hormuz, or what we know today as the Strait of Hormuz, and where all the conflicts going on today. And I just thought it's quite an interesting look to see what it looked like a couple hundred years ago. This originally it was in this collection from 1457. Rare Book Division, New York Public Library. So let's take a look at this. So as you can see, like, this says the island of Hormuz, or Hormuz. Island of Kishma, Kishma. And so I tried to line this up with the Google Earth. And this is what we get. So we're in the Strait of Hormuz here. This is called Hormuz Island, which is what I think this map is depicting. But it's very weird because it has this gigantic circle hurricane eye. Looks like some huge destruction happened here. And when you come down and try and look at what's going on here, you'll see that it's just like volcanic rock. It's like a wasteland. But it is lifted up off the sea level from everything else. It's like really, it's like a mountain. But where did this mountain come from is what I'm trying to figure out, because on the depiction there's no mountain here at all. They have a huge star fort here at the tip. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 10-story tower. A couple of mud-flooded temples or churches on top of hills. This inlet here, King's Palace, and another palace area over here. It looks to be some sort of shrine that people are praying to over here. And then a star fort that says off the coast of Kamran. There's another star fort there. So, looking again back here, if we point this towards the north orientation, if we were to assume that this is the same spot, which I believe it is, then this land mirror area here is actually now this port, which has been all dug up and excavated and now has water coming into it. Maybe it was kind of like that also. It just looks so different here. And then again, the biggest thing is this area here. Was this all ocean? Why I think this is the spot also is because of the area across the way. Although the coastline looks like it's a lot closer on that map, I think it is showing it farther away. I think it's this structure here, which you could see there's like stuff buried in the sand, but it's this shape that stands out. This is an old star fort structure. If we go back in time, this structure is there. To 2004 4, we can still see a lot of stuff in the sand, but this kind of trapezoidal image, I think, is what's here. Looking at the star fort, we're actually able to drop down on here. Google doesn't give us much imagery, but tourists have. And what do we see? See a huge stone volcanic rock. It kind of looks like the same rock that was at the top of the hill. I bet it's red brick though inside of here. Wow. See, now look at this, is crazy. Oh my gosh. It's all mud flooded, so it goes deeper down. Look at these caverns. Like, this is so wild. What was this used for? Let's see if we can get like an interior picture maybe. Another one. It's red mortar. See if we can get inside. A lot of destruction. But so intricate. Crazy brickwork. This is in a little area outside of it, so more architecture around the areas. Obviously looks a little newer. But over here you can see the destruction in that tower. Let's get back over into the star fort. Oh, this looks a nice aerial view of the area. It's really nice. It's just a lot of destruction, so much history. There's that gigantic mountain region back, and I think it looks like it kind of, I don't know. Check the wiki page and let's break down this narrative a little bit. The Fort of Our Lady of Conception, also known as the Portuguese Castle, is a red stone fortress on the Hormuz Island. It is one of the last surviving monuments in the Portuguese colonial rule in the Persian Gulf. So it used to be a maritime city, a small kingdom. See, now this is where it gets interesting. The original site was on the North Shore, apparently in response to attacks from the Tartars. So around 1300, so 200 years prior to this point in which we're talking about, which is where the main history of it starts, around the early 1500s with Alfonso Albuquerque, we find that around 200 years prior, it was being attacked by the Tartars. Tartars, who apparently never existed and who never occupied and controlled all of Asia, are out here in the 1300s, moving and grooving. Constructed on reddish stone on a rocky promontory at the far north of the island, the castle was originally cut off from the rest of the island by a moat, traces of which still remain. So, again, even though they show land here, this is supposed to be all water. Now, the mainstream narrative says that it was ordered by construction by Albuquerque in 1507, when his forces seized the island for a short time, renaming the fort. Then they got, I don't know, I guess he had to retreat or he faced a revolt, and then he came back in 1515 when he actually finished and completed the fort. Now, this doesn't make any sense, because where's the materials he used to build all this? Again, all these forts seem to already have been there prior. And when you go into this and do a little digging, main articles here, capture of Hormuz in 1507 when he pulled up, when Albuquerque pulled up, it was already there. Again, so why would it say it was built in 15, 15 if it was already there when he pulled up to take over the island. So the campaign was a part of a plan by King Manuel of Portugal, who in 1505, 2 years earlier, to resolve Muslim trade in Indian Ocean. He's having beef with the Muslims, trying to control trade to China. So let's see, where does it say? Thus, in April 1506, two fleets totaling 16 ships. So they had 16 ships, and they're gonna go and take over this. Were dispatched from Lisbon to capture Socotra, which is the name of the island prior, and establish on it a fort. But a fort was already there to be established because that's what he originally told them to go do, was to take over the fort. It's just so interesting. Look at this. This is a quote from Albuquerque in 1507 when he had to retreat. When I saw myself this ruined and the fleet lacking supplies and 120 men sick, lacking whatsoever to feed them. So he only had 120 men on 16 ships. And it's like, how are you building this gigantic fort in such a short time? I was forced to change course so that not to lose the fleet and the fortress and discard the journey to Cambay and to seek the Strait of Hormuz to find supplies and die like knights, rather than starving little by little till we wrecked the ships. So he wasn't doing very well, man, and he went out there to try to take this over and failed the first time, came back the second time. Look at these warships, man. This is interesting. So this is a depiction. I'm not sure. This looks kind of new. It says created 2009, but I'm not sure when this was actually created. But even so, like the Star Fort back there is on the water. You're building, like, the battle's already ensuing. So how are you gonna build the fort if it's already there? And it just doesn't make any sense. So this is from 1635. So this is about 100 years later. 100 years later, and you're getting cartoonish depictions like this, where, okay, so the Star Fort was cut off by a moat. That's kind of what it's depicting. And here's that mountain range where we're seeing now, it's like red circle, but I don't know, it's just so weird that now it's just a giant red blob instead of more like a range, like a mountain range. So interesting. So apparently the original fort was here, and then him and his men built all of this. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Improvements made in black after 1550s. So, like, are you sure? I mean, look at this thing. How? Oh my gosh. What materials are you using to quarry the stone? How are you transporting all the stone? It's just crazy. Don't even get me back into Ghana, where I originally started this research today and then deviated completely into this whole island of Hormuz situation. It's so fascinating. Anyway, I hope you guys liked and enjoyed this little deep dive. What's going on with our past? Island of Hormuz. Do a bees bonus here. So Google Earth has a pretty cool tool where you can overlay imagery on top of the map, so you can take old maps, lay it on the new maps, and see what's changed. So it's not going to be perfect, of course, but you can get an idea of where things were, so you can mess around with that. A couple things I've noticed, again, kind of like this port, which I think is La Demira, which is now like this empty port here. You could see the streets that were here are kind of still here. The main one and kind of two. 1, 2. I mean, it's kind of the same. Another thing, you kind of get like the dimensions of like the coastlines, like just seeing how things have changed there. Like, I think this tip here is that tip. So like this tip down here is what would be this tip. So we can see there's a canal that's not there anymore. It's just one full thing. And then you have kind of like this barren area here right before the mountains, which is this. That's what I'm thinking. And then to here. The St. Lucia area is like this area here. Like something to that effect. But you can play around with it, it's pretty cool. A couple of things, a couple pins that I have here. Dead fish in the dirt. So there's this one user image here next to this yellow, what I think is a demolished building. This lady is sitting in this huge pile of dead fish, and it looks like slaughtered sheets and like bloody sheets, and there's one guy and there's another pile. There's just fish everywhere. And then some bloody, I don't know what that is over there on the hill. It's just a weird scene. And you know what? Now that I think about it, this guy on the motorcycle, keep him in mind. Because I think that's the same guy. So I was on this side, and I saw this multicolored, what looked like a amusement park. You see this? Crazy. But really, it's like some commune. Here's some construction imagery from 2018. When they were building it, you could see. Now it's all colored. This is from 2024, this imagery here. And there's a couple of interesting user images over here. But this guy right here, is this not the same guy? Right here with the motorcycle? There it is right there, it's under construction. So this was 2018. This guy was probably touring around in 2018 and uploaded these images. It's so funny. You come out here to like the beach and stuff, and there's like swirls and patterns and stuff like that. It's like designs on the floor that people from what I'm assuming this commune is making, or I don't know, it's just a lot of like hippie stuff, which is kind of funny. If you can read Iranian, or I guess, what is it, Arabic, the entrance sign, there is an entrance sign. If you can interpret what that says, leave it in the comments below. But that's the Strait of Hormuz, Island of Hormuz. Cool little video there. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.